Laptop got start updating.
Yes, just tell me, Karthik. Sorry, I missed you.
No, while just opening my laptop, it got start updating actually. Some updates start running.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so what we can do here is, I think there was a button of run all. Don't think that we have it now. And if I do it like this, okay, I'll remove these things. Okay, I'll just simply keep it like this. Execute this goes fine. Yeah. So next thing is we have some information functions in the data frame or pandas. Okay, those doesn't those are not for transformations or something, but those gives you some idea about your data frame. Okay, so let's see those, then you will get what exactly I'm trying to say. So here df is basically your variable name. Okay, so this on execution number 6. This df is nothing but a variable name, so you can call it any variable. Like if this is my sale data, you could have called it sale data df or sale data like that. Okay, try to give some meaningful names in real time, but here I'm just simply referring it by df. And then if you do df.info, that means your data frame name .info, then you will something get like this. Some information about your data frames like index. I mean, you will get the column names, their sequence number, how many not null count you have in those columns. Like, this is the total count that we have. You can see here as well, range in the range index. But then for other columns, we do have some null values itself. So I mean, count is less than the total count. And you also see the data type of those columns. So pandas basically, try to infer the data type of a column based on the values it is storing. So index column, as we have all integers, it is considering it int 64. Object is nothing but a string. Float is floating point numbers, and then others are object only. So like this, you will get some information about your data frames. Next we have is describe. Describe basically describes your data frame in a mathematical manner only for numerical columns. Okay, so if I execute this, it gives some basic mathematical calculations for your columns, like what is the total count, what is the mean of the column, what is the standard deviation of the column, what is the minimum of the column, 25% of the column, like those, some counts you get these things. See, describe something that we will very rarely use because standard deviation means are mostly used by data scientists, not data engineers. Okay, we might use df.info, but yes, it is there. So just in case if you need it, it is there. That index and columns, like these are two easy things. Basically just this is one is going to give you index, like means row numbers. So it starts from 0 and on 9271, and step is 1. That means increment is happening with the 1. Then we have columns. Okay, so columns basically gives you column names, and then you have tail and head. uh, if you pass some number inside these functions, tail and head, so head is going to give you top rows and tail is going to give you and bottom rows. So this you use, see, these things you use just for validation of the data. Like say you have read it a file, and before applying some of operations or before actually implementing logics, you might want to see what is the top 10 records is showing you, or whether the columns have been read it perfectly or not, whether data is looking good or not. So you can see in the top 10 we do have data, so it looks all good. But if you see tail, we have mostly nulls, because in the last of the file we have all the null records. So in the last we all have null records. NaN basically stands for null. Yeah. So yeah, this is your information methods. Okay, this you can use to get the some information about your data frames. So yes, if you have any questions about this. Okay. There are some accessors in the Python. Okay, we call them accessor. What is the use of accessor? See, right now, if I just simply print my data frame by saying df, we have quite a huge data here. Like we have almost 9,000 rows. Uh, and this is nothing in the comparison of production data. You might have millions or billions of rows. Okay. So sometimes you have to use accessor to filter out the data, to restrict our data frame or restrict our analysis like that. Okay. So what you can do here is, so we have four type of accessors. Okay. Lock, ilock, at, and iat. Okay. So let's see these things. What lock does for you is, okay, if you pick up the syntax, it is basically, gives you required rows and columns as per your choices. Okay. So what you can do here is type the row numbers. Let's say you want to see rows between 10 and 20. So you will say 11. Okay, this is the starting point, and 20, this is the ending point. Now one thing here in the accessor only, okay, remember this thing, only in the accessor upper limit is actually included. Okay, and then you will type the column name, like for which column you would like to do it. So you say stock, and if you execute this, you see row number 11 to 20 you are able to see, and their values you are able to see. Okay, this is like subset of data you are trying to access from the complete data frame. Okay, we could also do it like this. We can also pass a list here instead of a single variable. So again, you can use list and you can pass some column names. Let's say I pass design number. I could pass category. Okay. Okay, I missed one square bracket. Yeah, now it works, fine, and you will be able to see. Okay, there's a, okay, it's a small o. See, this is a key error. Okay, let's track this also. Key error basically means something you are trying to access that is not available in your source. Source could be your the key error, your data frames, your dictionaries, or something else also. Okay, so you can see design number is not found in the index, and reason is I have mentioned a capital O, but in the actual data frame we have a small o. Okay, so I have to make sure that it is a small o. So if I convert this into a small o, it will be absolutely fine. Now you can see I am able to access 10 rows ranging from 11 to 20 and giving me only 3 required columns. Okay. So same thing if I would like to want. Okay. You can also get it with the help of ilock. In the lock, you pass column names. In the ilock, you pass indexes. Okay. So it's going to be like, 3, 4, 5. No, yeah, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So if I pass 2, 3, 4, I'll get the same result. So if you want to access columns with their names, you pass, you use lock accessor. If you want to use, column with the help of their index number, then you pass, or then you use ilock. Okay, this is the difference between lock and ilock. That's the only differences here. Okay, and same way we have at and iat. So at allows you to get the data of a using column name, and iat allows you to get data using columns index. Okay, so let's try that also. F dot at. Okay, I will open the square bracket, pass on, let's say I will say 10, no, I will say 11, comma, I will say, let's say 2. If I execute this, okay, there's some error. I missed something. 2 is not a key. Okay, sorry, it's at, it's not I yet. So I have to pass on the column name, not the index number. My bad. Let's say I pass stock. Execute this. You can see on row number 11, what is the value of a stock? This is basically you are trying to find out. So on row number 11, we have the stock value of 2.0. Okay. Likewise, you can use it here with the I at. So if I execute this and remove stock, I will say 2 and close the braces, and I'll get the same thing. So it's basically 3, not 2. Okay. So this is how we use at and I at. See, same thing also you can achieve with the help of lock also. Okay, so you will have to say df dot lock. I will say 11 comma 11 comma I will say stock. In this case also I will get row number and stock's value. But thing is, I mean, if you can see the difference and if you can tell it to me, that will be good. Otherwise, if you have any questions, you can let me know. And then I'm going to tell you the difference between I at and lock. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. So if you see this bit, closely, the difference between add and lock accessor is lock always gives you a data frame in return. Okay, and add gives you a string or float, like it gives you complex data type in return, and this gives you a scalar data type in return. Okay, so to verify this, if I execute it like this, if I say inside the type function, if I use it like this and execute this, I will get float. Okay, so basically it is giving me a floating point number. Okay, and here the same thing, if I use type pandas.co.series, that means basically it's going to give me a series return type. Okay, now what is the difference between these two things? Like what's actually it's going to have, it's going to how it's going to impact in your use cases. So let's say you were writing a program in which you were looking to pick the value of stock. Okay, and then add a few things in the stock value, maybe 2 or 3, or like something you wanted to add up. Okay, some calculations you wanted to do. So to do a calculation, you should have the return type as a floating point number. Okay, and if you want that to be in a floating point number or a scalar variable, you will use add. Okay, and if you just have some requirement, a specific requirement where you want to get output as a series, you will use log. Okay, in case of picking single values, if you want to pick subset, obviously log is the only solution. You cannot use add to get a subset of your data. Okay, and let's check out some ways to filter the data frame. Okay, so I will pick up this data frame columns category. You remember when I did info function, only index column has the values in all the rows, but other columns have some nulls. Okay, so if I do it like this, where I know I say data frame name and category column name, Okay. And I say fill NA. So what basically fill NA is going to do? It's going to, fill your nulls with a hard coded value. So you can say here test. If I execute this, all the rows which had NaN before, now they will have test. Okay. So fill NA is a function that basically simply replaces your null to a hard coded value. Okay. So if you are coming from SQL background, this is our equivalent of NVL, where we say null to value. So same thing is fill NA. Then your data frame with a where condition. Okay, that means you want to get the data frame output where the category is equals to cardigan, something like that. If you execute this, all the rows you will get where you have category only cardigan. Okay, so basically cardigan category starts from 20 to 40. This is the row numbers you will get, and you will get all the columns as well. So this is like, if you are coming from SQL background, this is like saying select star from data frame where category equals to cardigan. Okay. Now one thing might be a bit different for you if you are only SQL developer. If you haven't worked on Python any programming languages, this double equal. Okay. So in programming language, when we want to assign some value to a variable, okay, like if I were interested in assigning the cardigan to a category variable, then I will use single equal. But if I am interested in verifying whether category is equals to cardigan or not, in that case I will have a double equal. Okay, remember this thing always. Then how to apply two conditions? Simply use AND operator. Simply just say df dot category equals to cardigan and color equals to blue. So this basically is going to give you only those rows where these two conditions are actually matching. Okay, so we will get around 6 rows where the category is cardigan and we have a color as a blue color for our particular thing, whatever it is. Okay, this is how we apply AND operator. If you are interested in checking OR operator, just simply replace this AND with the OR operator, that is a pipe. Okay, this is a sign that you have to use to apply OR operator, and then you will get the result wherever category is either equal to cardigan or color is equals to blue. Okay, you will apply this function and you will get the results as well. Then in the next one, this is the using the query function. So this and the previous one. Okay, so output of this and this is exactly same. There's no logical difference. It's just a syntax difference. If you prefer, you can use as per your convenience. Both are going to give you same results. Okay, both are going to give you same results. It's just that what is your syntax preference. Then you can use isIn operator, something that we use in SQL as well. So if you do this, basically this is writing multiple OR conditions. Okay, so it's like whether the category is in if it belongs to one of these three categories, your row will appear in the results. Okay, so we have seen how to filter on single column, how to filter on multiple columns, and how to filter based on AND or OR conditions. Then we have one more thing. You can use mathematical comparisons as well. So for that, you can say wherever the stock is less than 3, if you want to do that, you can apply this function, and it is basically going to give you data wherever stock is less than 3. Okay, so if you increase this to some number, you will get only fewer rows. Oh, sorry, my bad. It should be stock is greater than 100, and then you will get fewer rows. So this is how we filter in data frames. So I'll come back to Notepad, and if you have any questions about this, you can let me know. Okay. In that case, if you are not asking question, then let's check this thing. It is a one more example of for loop. So let's say you want to go through a column of a data frame. You want to, check it also with some conditions, and also you would like to take some actions on those. In that case, this for loop is going to help you. Basically, what I'm saying, for value in the stock column. Okay, so one by one, I have explained this in the last class. So one by one, for loop is going to, go through your stock column, pick up one value, like it will pick 575, and the next iteration is going to pick 399, like that. And it's going to print, first it's going to verify whether your value is less than 5 or not. And if it is less than 5, it's going to go ahead and print the value of that. We could have done some actions also here in this case, okay, like adding something or sending some messages like those. But for now, we are simply printing the messages, okay. So if I execute this code now, you see I'm able to get the proper results here. Okay, so basically it has gone through all the lines. If I modify this to greater than 300, I print this. Obviously, message is wrong because I'm printing stock is less than. But if you see, it's going through those values one by one, like 575, 399, 628, and only those values will appear which are passing this condition. So if you have such requirements, you can use for loop as well over a data frame. That is also a doable thing. Okay. Next is grouping the data. So let's see a few examples of grouping the data in Python. So to group the data, first of all, you have to create a group object. Okay. You will pick it up, the data, come down, and you will simply type it here. So what I'm saying, this is your data frame, and you are saying group by. Okay, this is the function that you will use to group the data, and also the column name. Okay, so right now I'm simply passing one column name, that means design number. So my data is going to get grouped based on the design number, and I'm also sorting the data after it groups. Okay, So if I run this, I will simply get a group by object created. Even if I try to print this df group, I will get that some group by object has been created at some memory location. Okay, I won't be able to see any data inside that. So basically, this is saying select nothing from table and group by design number. That is kind of simply grouping it by, but we are not selecting anything. If you want to select something, okay, you'll have to mention that. So how we can do that? We have multiple options. So you can do it like this also. Here I am saying on my group by object, return me those rows which are the first row of a particular group. So if I execute this, I get like for every group, every design number, I'll get the first row. Whatever I like, that particular design number might contain 8 rows, 10 rows, 20 rows, or 5 rows like that. But it's just going to give us the first row of that design number. Okay. And we have get group. So if you want to get the details of a single group, you can use this get group function, type AN201, and you will get all the rows available for particular design number. Okay. So you can see for AN201, this is your first row, which this is your first row which appeared in the first functions output, and these are the all rows available for this particular design number. And if you want to do some activities that we most oftenly do, I mean, we do not use first and group more oftenly in our codes, but we use sum, count, min, max, average, mean. These are the functions that we more oftenly use. If you want to do sum, you can say sum, and for all the mathematical okay, like they have updated it bit now, but earlier it used to be on all the mathematical columns by default. Now they are summing up for a group on string column also, and they are concatenating the rows. Okay, which is a bit weird. They might have done this update recently because this is the first time I'm seeing output like this. This is but weird, but yeah, mostly it used to be on in integer columns by default. Okay, so you can see stock is being summed up to 22 because, and even if you do the sum by yourself, you will see 5, 10, 13, 19, and 22. So this is how it's going to sum up based on the stock column and obviously on your index column. So if you want to pick up a specific column, let's use this. So you can say now you can ignore this syntax and you can use this syntax. So if you do this thing, you will get the design number and sum of the stock for that particular design number. So if I convert this for you in a SQL, basically you are saying select count sum from table name group by design number. Okay. Right now I'm using max, my bad, but we should use sum. And likewise, you can also use max, you can use min, okay, and you can use some other functions. And if you notice this, okay, this df group is actually equals to this thing. This is what I have mentioned above in the first execute statement. Okay, I am saying group by design number short equals to true. And then I'm saying stock dot min. So basically, if I pick up this thing or if I replace this with our group object variable name df group, still it will work absolutely fine. Okay, so you no need to break it out things in the 2-step necessarily, but I wanted to give you in the 2 steps. Okay, maybe once you are once you are habitual to these things, then you can sum it up. Then this is the syntax of, or you can say example of getting the max stock of every group using short and duplicates. So if I run this, for every design number, I will get my maximum stock rows. So you have some, and what I can do short values, and I would like to sort it based on design number. Yeah, this is what I was expecting. So now what we are doing, see, it is exactly equivalent to this, I'll say max. It is exactly equivalent to this thing where we are saying that we want from our group object the rows where we have the max of stock for our design number. Okay, so for ANT01 we have the max 6. Same thing I am doing here. Okay, but I am applying multiple other functions. Those can be used on the data frames. So let's go through them one by one. First, what I say, okay, first I say sort my values based on stock. Okay, I am sorting my values based on the stock that I have available. Okay, then from those, let's say, let's open the data set, then it will be easy to understand. See, so let's pick up some samples in the new sheet. What will happen? The results will get sorted based on the number of stocks. Okay, so if I pick it up manually one by one, I will get this row. I will get this row if I am sorting based on the stock amount. Then I will get this row. Okay. Okay. Now, what second thing we say? Second thing I am saying, drop duplicates based on the design number and keep the last one. Okay. So let's implement this one. So what is the design number we have here? Actually, it is all AN202. So let's pick up a few records from other also. I will pick this one from AN204. Okay. So what it will do? I want to drop based on design number, and I would like to keep last. Okay. Something I did wrong. Kya? One thing I did wrong. This sort is actually going to sort your data in the ascending order. So my bad. It will be actually otherwise. My bad. And I will cut this and paste here. Okay, so this is what I have now. This is the correct one. Okay, so what we are saying, first we are sorting the set based on the stock amount that we have on the ascending order, and then I say drop duplicates based on design number. Okay, so on all these same design numbers, it's going to drop the duplicate rows. And what I am saying keep the last one. Okay, so this is going to keep the last one. So these two rows will be deleted. Okay, and this is how I'm going to get my max record for a particular design number. Okay, so what we have learned in this section, we have learned how to create a group by object, how to use the group by object for various activities, and also we have seen few other functions such as drop duplicates and sort values. Also remember, if you want to calculate, drop duplicates have basically three options on the keep part: last, first, and then we have a random one, that is any. If you type any, depending on the mood of the compiler, it's going to keep the one row for you. Obviously, any is something we very rarely use. If you want to get max, we use last. If you want to get min, we use first. Okay. Then we have one last function. Then I'll pause here. That is value counts. Basically, it creates a group. So basically, this value counts is something like, in SQL, select count star from a column and group by on the same column. So basically, right now we are grouping by on the category, and then we are getting the how many rows are present for particular category. So for kurta we have the highest rows, and for some other things we have a minimum rows. So yes, now I will pause here. If you have any questions, please take your time, go through all the syntaxes, and if you want, I will just scroll it up. If you want to go for filtering as well, go through filtering and the group examples. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Chalish?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so as a data engineer in a project where we would be using these data frames and other things.
See, as I mentioned, these see as data engineer. Okay, so your tasks are like let's say are having multiple like HR data, like a BPO, and they are having HR data, their employees data, like which application they are using, how much time they are spending on YouTube or Chrome or like that. All those data were coming from various data sources. After reading those files, okay, it was initially the files were in CSV format only. After reading those files, we were converting those files into data frames, applying some calculations, some transformations, some filtering, some group by on all, and some joins with master data, and placing the data finally in the Redshift. Okay, these all activities we were doing, And same thing you will also do in your data engineering project. See, data engineering basically starts from data. Okay, so your first thing is to read the file and then do some activities. Okay, to do some activities. See, now if you think, if you go in the few years back when we didn't have these pandas, or nowadays we have multiple other libraries, like we have this, I don't remember, this B warehouse or something like those are there. Okay, uh, this analysis was there. Okay, I'm not saying it was not there, but it was a bit complex. To writing code such easily was definitely not possible. And even if you see the raw syntax of reading the Python file in the Python, you will find some difficulty to understand this. Okay, so nowadays we are simply mentioning one line only. Okay, now we are simply mentioning one line, like this much small syntax that is very easily understandable. But earlier it was not like that. Even if I try to get the syntax for you, this is, I'm saying, without pandas. If I can find that syntax. Let's ask ChatGPT in this case. What I will do, I'll press backspace, 8 ChatGPT. This is going to give you perfect code in a minute. See, this is a code just to read the file. Okay, with open CSV reader, then you have to create some buffers, then you have to read the data in from the header column by column, and then convert this into zip and then append, and all those things were there. Just to read the file, and with the libraries, with the pandas, with just this syntax, just single line. So more oftenly you will read the data and then you convert this. See, this is this process actually called ETL, extract, transform, load. So extract part is reading your data and converting it into a data frame. Transform part begins when you use some technology to transform that data. Okay. Right now we are learning Python, so I am using Python to transform the data. Next few days we will learn PySpark as well. Okay, that is more oftenly used in the production than Python. But PySpark basically means combination of Python and Spark clusters. Okay, so we will learn Spark clusters and then we will practice the examples there as well. But obviously we need to understand Python first. That's why we are right now in Python. Okay, so using this PySpark, Python, sometimes SQL as well, we transform, we calculate, or we make the data usable. And L stands for load the data. Then we push this data into some warehouses. I mean, 99% of the times it's going to into warehouses. Okay. So what we do in the warehouses? So technologies of warehouses are like Redshift, Snowflake, Synapse. Synapse is a product of Microsoft Azure. Then we have Hive as a warehouse. Okay, so in these warehouses, they have some features that supports analytics a part of engineering. Okay, that I mean, these warehouses make analytics more possible, more easy, and more convenient for the data engineers. We will learn these things when we reach on that level. But from these warehouses, what clients do? Clients connect their BI tools more oftenly. Okay, like we had a this is a for okay. So this is all from okay. Just a second now. This is all from my today's class from the learning part. If you have any questions, you can let me know. Otherwise, for next few details, I'll stop the recording because that is a bit confidential, and then I'll share it with you.
No questions, Saraj.
Mm-hmm.
Myself good.
Okay. Okay. So I'll stop.